Oh, hey there, folks. What you doing over there? We'll get to that camera angle when I give you the studio tour. How about we switch over to the normal views, so we can get started. Welcome back to Hunky Vape. I'm your host, DJ Alex, and today I'm recording a special thank you vlog to celebrate the 500 plus people who have subscribed to this vape channel. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to all of you who've subscribed to this vape channel and inspire me to keep on making these videos. As I said in my last thank you vlog, vaping is a journey away from deadly combustible cigarettes. And that journey also includes the crafting aspect of vaping. So once again, that's going to be the focus of today's vlog. First, we're going to revisit some of the e-liquids that we've made right here on this channel. And so far, we haven't found a DIY e-liquid recipe that's as bad as some of the commercial juice we all bought in a local vape shop near us. Well, today, we're going to revisit these recipes and talk about what's changed since we originally mixed them. These are some delectable juices. We're also going to mix some random recipes and broaden our palette to new and amazing possibilities in e-liquids. We're also going to see some products that are in the process of getting reviewed right now, like the Lost Vape Thelema Quest. I'm going to tell you a little story about that. Plus, you'll get to see the unedited filming of a new product up for review. You might be surprised at how much editing is actually required for reviews that you see every day on YouTube. I'll also give you a little visual tour of the Hunky Vape studio I built right here. It's definitely not cheap to start a YouTube channel. We've got some retro vapes to open and try today. Plus, I think it's time that we finally make our own vape coils. Yep. We're going to take and grab some plain, readily available wire, fuse it, and Clapton the wire into our own custom vape coils. We're also going to visit a couple Smoky Mountain vape shops today because my hatred for the fat rabbit reached a whole new high while on vacation. All because it decided to puke out all the juice over the inside of my camera bag and all over the DOVPO ODIN mod, which also caused the batteries to almost go into a thermal runaway. Well, today, we're going to take apart this ODIN. We're going to determine how bad is the damage inside it and see if it can even be saved. If it can, we're going to clean it, test it, and go ahead and keep using it. Because if it isn't good enough, then there's going to be a new video on this channel about me replacing the stock board in this DOVPO ODIN with the DNA 250C. So, well, there's all this and a bunch of more that I got to do for this video I've got planned. So, go grab a cup of your favorite beverage, make some popcorn, maybe even grab a bag of your favorite snack, and let's finally enjoy some fun crafting aspects of vaping. It got you to quit smoking, and now we're going to find out how to keep vaping affordable and accessible to anyone willing to learn some DIY. Ain't nothing to it but to get into it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is a list of my recipes that I've got saved on e-liquid recipes. Sorry, I haven't shared any of them yet because I don't feel like any of them are truly remarkable. My wife, however, disagrees on that. She seems to think that this peachy mango guava, I need to leave it alone because it's great. And when I make improvements to it, she can't tell the difference. I can tell the difference, but she can't. So, I'm going to end up picking one and releasing it to the public after we get done doing this video. But I figured this was the perfect opportunity for us to revisit some of these recipes that we mixed up. I mixed up Pippa Star's Lemon Bakehouse Queen just not too long ago. And then, after I used it for a while, I decided, well, maybe I need to revisit this thing and see how good she really is. Very nice. I like it. Let me put some more juice on here. Little flip top action. Throw a couple drops in. And give it a little toke. Perfect example of why you need to revisit some of these recipes and not go off of your first instinct. When I first did this, I was completely befuddled by the flavor profile in this Lemon Bakehouse Queen. Because when I first mixed it and I followed the directions that she put on there to wait 4 or 5 days of steeping time to find out what the true flavor profile is, I tasted it and I was befuddled because the lemon was still really strong and popped right in your face as soon as you vaped it. But that bakehouse note, I didn't get it. Yeah, I could tell there was like a, I don't know, wafery sensation in it. But I didn't get the bakehouse. Because I couldn't recognize it and tie it together with like a lemon pound cake. Or a sugar cookie that's got the lemon icing on it. It's just really potent lemon and kind of a bakehouse feel. Well, let me tell you what happens if you wait another 5 days and go back and revisit it. It blends together beautifully. The lemon mellows out just a hair more, and the bakehouse notes start to really shine in this. Fantastic vape, especially when you pair it with something like coffee. What a delicious combination. So, this just goes to prove it to you. You can't rely on your first instincts when you go to vape these things. They do change over time. Bakehouse notes and bakery notes take a while, and you have to let them steep in your liquid before you can get the true profile of it. Yeah, okay, I understand Wayne's perspective on it, especially with him doing this for years and years and years. You can tell if a juice is really good when you go to vape it initially, because it very rarely will get better. But when you have a really good, really intriguing vape liquid and you let it steep, and then you revisit it after you let it steep again and again, well, you might find yourself in control and in power and creating a really, really, really good recipe. Better than any commercial juice out on the liquid. And then you have things like this strawberry crunch bar that I've made a couple times on a couple of videos in this channel. I really love this thing. It is fantastic. This strawberry crunch bar is the perfect example of something that you need to let steep for a while before you give a final impression on it. Because this is something that I've mixed multiple times on this channel. And I loved it. It's fantastic, especially when you first mix it. And then a couple days later, it's even better because those crunch bar notes really start to pop through. And the strawberry just kind of takes like a back seat, and it's fighting over the spot with the vanilla and the cream and the strawberry. It's all fighting, and then you get the crunch that wraps up the whole thing, and it's freaking awesome. Delicious. Well, I mixed up a big bottle of this to take on vacation, and I was jamming it. It's delicious. Tastes just like a strawberry crunch bar, especially when you clean your palate with some coffee or you have yourself dinner and then you go to vape it afterwards. Then you go and take a toke. Strawberry crunch bar. Well, let me tell you what happens. You make yourself a 120 ml bottle of this, and you go and you vape it. And you vape it all the time. And yeah, you switch it up with a different one. And you switch it up with a different one. Well, as strong as the flavor components are in this, the longer this sits, the more I found that it tends to muddle those flavors a little bit. Not enough to change it from being what you recognize. Once you vape it and you vape a bottle of this a month later, it's been sitting around, you still recognize it. But it doesn't have that pop of strawberry and that pop of vanilla fighting over placement with the crunchy aspects of it. The vanilla crunch cookie aspect of it. So, that's something that's going to need a little tweaking because it is really good. But personally, I wouldn't sell this as a commercial juice. Kind of makes you wonder how much research and time do some of these juice companies actually spend with their juice profiles, because I love this green apple. Squeezed green apple tastes just like biting into a green apple. And I've got that sitting in the Swag PX80. And every time you take a toke of that, every time you open that bottle of it, I don't care if it's been sitting around for 6 months. You open a bottle of that and you put it in. It tastes just like biting into a green apple. Well, I got a bottle of the squeezed peach, and I expected to have the exact same profile, well, in a peach form, as this green apple. I expected it to taste just like biting into a juicy, sweet, fresh, ripe peach. Well, I was highly disappointed. And I was highly disappointed at the exact wrong time, because that was the juice that I picked to throw into this Lost Vape Thelema quest when I started the review for it. Let me tell you about this thing. I love it. I love this mod. I love the fact you got 3 buttons on the front of it to customize it. I love the way that this tank is set up on there. You can fill it with the little rubber cap on the top. You don't have to take it out or disassemble it or anything. You just pop the rubber top open, squeeze the bottle, it's full, you're off and running again. Quiet tank. Unbelievable flavor. You also get unbelievable flavor when you try a juice that you don't really like. And that's not fair for Lost Vape and their Thelema Quest device and their tank when you're doing a review. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to stick with a flavor profile I know all the time. And right now, those 2 choices are going to be for my Salty Man Purple Rain or for my OG Blue that I make myself. So, when I do new reviews on new products, those are the ones I'm going to have to stick in the tank. Because here's my dilemma with this Lost Vape Thelema Quest. I ordered this thing from online and got it in, and I love it. And I went to a couple vape shops while on vacation, looking for another replacement coil for this because I didn't think it was fair for me to do a review when I put a juice in here I didn't like. And I know if I put another juice in there that I recognize, well, you still get that peachy note when you first take your first toke of this thing, even with OG Blue. So it's kind of weird. You take a toke of it, you get that hint of peach, and then it turns into OG Blue. Kind of cool if you're looking for something that's always changing, but that's not what I recognize. So I want a new 0.15 ohm coil to throw in this. I visited 2 Smoky Mountain vape shops. They were the Sevier Vapor and the Knoxville Vapor. And they didn't have it. And then when we got home, I had to run up to camp to close up camp, drain the water out of the thing, throw the antifreeze in the drains and the cooling system, and get everything all buttoned up, pack up all the stuff that, perishable, that can't survive winter. And I visited the vape shop up in Clarion. We talked about them before too. And they didn't have my coils either. And I called all the local vape shops around here and in the Pittsburgh area. And I didn't find one that carries the coil for this. Well, that means I had to order it from the same place I got the mod. Or another online place that has it. So I placed an order for some coils for this. And coil, and the rebuildable coil that comes for this. But now, because of the vape ban, I'm going to have to wait 3, maybe 4 weeks to get this thing. Okay, maybe I should be optimistic and say I'll get him here in 2 weeks. But do I really want to sit on this that much longer? Well, that's the dilemma I find myself in. So, I'm going to continue doing this review. And when this coil gets toast, I'll put the other coil in. And then I'm going to finish my video and upload it. And if the replacement stuff isn't here, well, then I guess I'll do a follow-up video on it with the rebuildable head. Because I love this thing too much to delay putting this video out there. If you have an opportunity to get this Lost Vape Thelema Quest, I'm telling you now, go jump on it. This is an amazing mod. I love that C-frame design. That is fantastic. I love this pod mod tank that they have on here. It is fantastic. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to like the fact that this has a polycarbonate tank on there instead of glass. But you know what? I've dropped this thing half a dozen times and there's nothing wrong with the pod. I love it. It's great. So, you can order one now if you find it on sale. Or wait for the review. It'll be on the channel soon. But I love this thing. Oh. Fantastic. All right, getting back to these juice reviews. One of the things that we did a recipe on was the apple cinnamon donut that was on here. I gave this thing to my wife. She went and vaped it for a while. After about a week or so, she's like, you know what? I've noticed every time I go and use this juice as opposed to one of the other ones, it gives me heartburn. So she quit using it and handed it over to me. And I tried the thing. And apple cinnamon donut's just not my favorite profile. Yeah, I can vape it, and it's good. But I've noticed that the longer this thing sits in this bottle, the darker and darker and darker it keeps getting. So that might be a little bit of a concern. But because of the situation with the strawberry crunch bar and this donut, well, there's certain juices that I'm only going to be making in 60 ml bottles for that exact reason. Because you go and you make this juice up, let it steep a week, and then you go to use your bottle. And by the time this bottle is done, you don't have to worry about it expiring or the flavor profile diminishing or the flavors getting muddled. It's just a fact of life that I just learned. And now you know too. Some flavors you can mix up in a 120 ml bottle, like my OG Blue. And every time you open this bottle up, it's going to taste like OG Blue. And I don't care whether it's been in there 2 months or whether it's been in there less than a week, or it's been in there a month, you're always going to get the exact same flavor profile and the exact same recipe. Kind of has me wondering about this dead Christmas. Porn on date 10/2/21. If I sit on this any longer, is it going to change the flavor profile? We'll find out, because I'm saving this one for the next vlog that I put together. However, these are all things we can all learn from. And now you don't have to go through the experience like I did to learn about what to do with DIY e-liquids. Fact is, some of them are shake and vape. Some of them are shake it and wait like 3 or 4 days and vape it. Some of them, you need, like this lemon bakehouse, you need to let this thing steep for at least a week. 2 weeks is, I think, the ideal steeping time for this before it reaches its final resting place. Because I've had this thing now 2 months almost since I originally mixed it, and it has the same flavor profile. Once it reached that perfect peak where all the flavors balanced out, it tends to stay pretty stable at that. So, Pippa Star, thank you very much for this. This is an amazing recipe. Unlike my strawberry crunch bar, which is an amazing recipe, tastes like a strawberry crunch bar, works great, but after 2 months of it sitting there on the shelf, the flavors continue mixing a little more and gets a little more subdued. So that's going to take a little experimenting and fiddling with to get it to the point where I think it's going to be a stable juice I can mix up and come back to 6 months later. Then again, as often as I've been mixing stuff lately, well, I might not have time to go do waste on something like this, because this is really good. If I want it, I'll mix it up in a week, wait a week, and then I'll vape it. We have so many different flavor options and so many different possibilities available to us. Once you get the supplies, get yourself some flavors, and you can make your own delectable, delicious juices. So that is what we're going to dive into next. I'm going to pop open. Here's the e-liquid recipe website. Logged in. I'm going to go to the flavor stash that we have registered in here. These are all the flavors that I currently have in stock. And I'm going to tell it, where is it? What can I make? And it's going to sit there and calculate this. It's going to look at the recipes that were just recently created, look at the recipes that have been in there. It's going to look at what recipes, what flavor profiles we have available to us. And it's going to throw out some recipes. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to mix up 2 of these random recipes and then go and start the review process on these recipes. Here we go. What did it throw out there? Guava and cream. Now, see, that's a flavor that I think my wife would like, but I'm not a fan really of guava. Mango, it's good. Guava's good, but nah. If it was like a peach cream, I'd be right on that, but not for me. Raspberry vanilla ice cream, it's great. I had some just the other day, but not what I want. Strawberry custard, well, that sounds pretty interesting. But from my experience, I know the strawberry needs to be really potent for you to get it. But this is a very simple recipe. Do I want to mix this? I think I'm going to pass. Let's see if we can find something similar to that. What else do we have here? Tastes like love. What does it taste like love? Ooh, we have cheesecake, we have strawberry, super sweet, sweet strawberry, and vanilla custard. Oh, yeah, that kind of does taste like love. So, let me wrap up these ingredients for you and flip it over, and let's mix this and see if it does truly taste like love. And just like that, through the magic of television, I now have everything we need to be able to mix up this recipe. All right, looking at the recipe, I think we're going to have to modify it. So all you do is click this little wrench button here, and you can adapt this recipe. We're going to take and make a 60 ml bottle of this, and I think I'm going to mix this for my wife and set that up. But for the sake of YouTube, I can't do that. So I'm going to have to make it with 0 and then make adjustments after we stop recording. So everything's the same. The only real difference is going to be minor adjustments in the PG. So let's make an adaptation of this recipe. We're going to make 60 mils of it. For YouTube's purposes, it's going to have to be 0, but you can make that anything that you want it to be for your own personal use. And what do we have on hand? And what the concentration of it is. And we're going to leave the rest of these exactly the way they were, because I want to know, how good is this because I wasn't the one that invented it. Somebody else did. So we're going to give this credit to DOVPO, probably German. Here we go. Mix this one up on the fly to see what I can make. I'm the first to admit that the ingredients in this one will taste good in any mix, but just for those looking to try something new. Well, that's what we're doing. This is awesome. Needs at least 4 weeks to steep. Well, that kind of makes sense because of the vanilla custard. Custards are egg notes. Those take a long time for that to fully reach its maturation. Tested on several tanks and different ohms. It was tested on a TPP tank with 0.23 ohm coil, also on a Crown 5 and a Dead Rabbit. Have fun and always. Any kind feedback is going to be appreciated. Well, we're going to give him feedback, but to be fair to the inventor of Tastes Like Love, well, we're going to have to wait the steeping time to give him a true representation of the flavor profile. So we're going to mix this one up, and I'm going to fast forward through the entire process of mixing it because it's kind of common sense. You just work your way through the list and add each of the ingredients. So when you get done with it all, give it a good mix, add your VG, and you're good to go. So fast forwarding. All right, it's that simple. Mix up our own e-liquid. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give a good review of this until I've let it steep the proper amount of time. So how about we go and flip over to e-liquid recipes and see if we can find something we can shake and vape and try out today. All right, let's go back to our flavor stash. Jumping in, if the internet's going to move forward today, and let us see the recipes. And let's click what can we make again. And let's see if we can find something with some simple fruits in it that we can literally shake and vape it. Blue cotton candy jelly. It's only given a 3-star by whoever reviewed it previously. So we have blue raspberry cotton candy and jelly candy added. Well, that seems pretty simple to me. How about we find something that's got a little more pizzazz? Let's sort it by rating. Wow. That looks like a pretty simple recipe. Double apple, double watermelon, and golden pineapple. Wow. I think we need to go and make that right next. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is that simple. We just whipped up 2 60ml bottles of e-liquid for our own personal use. And you can do it too. It really is simple. We need some basic ingredients, and you can make up your own e-liquid. Yeah, it's great to be able to go to the store and buy a commercial bottle of e-liquid, but for some of you, I know you don't have that option anymore. And for others, in your near future, your choices on the commercial e-liquids may be limited too. So if they don't carry your flavor, well, you're just going to have to make your own. And it's really simple. So I got this apple juice just mixed up. They're all fruit flavors, so there's really no reason why you should have to let this steep to get the flavors out of it. I mean, yeah, in 24 hours, when it completely reaches equilibrium in here, it should taste a little more accurate, but I think we shook the heck out of it. So how about I wake up a dripper and give this thing a try. And just like that, we get to try out our apple juice. Matter of fact, I'm so convinced that this is going to be a good flavor. I'm going to go and fill up the Squonk bottle. Clean up my mess, and we'll give this thing a little vape. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This will be our first toke on our new apple juice that we just made. And it's all of a sudden darker in here. What's going on? Alexa, turn on studio backlight. Holy moly, folks! You never seem to be able to get everything to work right for you all the time. Well, today, as you could tell, the lights just decided they were going to turn themselves off. I told Alexa to turn them back on. She didn't turn them on. But time to truck on because we get to take our first toke on this apple juice recipe we just got done mixing up. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm getting the apple. And I'm getting the watermelon. Not really tasting the pineapple. It's pretty good. But how about we put a little super sweet in this? Just to find out how much better it could possibly be. And since I took it and put it into the Squonk bottle, well, it's very simple for us to adjust it. 2 drops is all it takes. Give it a little shake. Pop it back into our mod. Put the battery back in. Give it a little squonk. Right away, we get some flavor to pop out of those 3 that were in there. Does need a little sweetener. Didn't take much. I literally put 1, maybe 2 drops in this thing. About 0.5%. But this does taste pretty good. So I'm going to grab our apple juice that we just made. Pull out our scale. Flip her open. And if you guys don't already own one of these cap removers, I highly recommend you get yourself one. Because just like that, we were able to pull out the tip. All right, edit this recipe. Adapt it. We're going to add a flavor. And how about we go with just 0.5%? There we go, folks. It's that simple to modify and adjust the recipe. So if you get done mixing it and you're not happy with what the results are, very easy to modify it. Just adding a little more super sweet into there should get those flavors to really pop. Pop that lid open. Throw a couple more drops of this lovely new e-liquid onto there. And I really love this checkmark airflow system on the Bushido. It's fantastic. Even when the bottom of the tank gets flooded, you don't get any leaking. It's fantastic. Wow. Amazing what a little super sweet will do to these flavors. Get them to pop. Not too shabby. It isn't the greatest, most potent flavor profile we've ever mixed on this channel. But as a simple fruit, shake and vape, that's not too bad. Moving on. Moving on to the next item up for us today on this wonderful vlog, 500 sub thank you vlog. We're going to show you the introduction of a brand new vape product. Today, I'm going to start the review for the profile Squonk box. Yeah. It's using their next chip inside technology, and it allows you to configure it for a Squonk device or a dual battery box mod. So here's how I go about filming the review. Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hunky Vape. Today we're doing an unboxing and review of the Profile Squonk mod by DOVPO and Mr. Just Right. Ain't nothing to it but to get into it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this right here before us today is the Profile Squonk mod. Unbelievable. We have a Profile Squonk mod, comes with a pre-installed Squonk bottle that you can remove and use 2 batteries instead of the 1 if you don't want to use it as a Squonk mod, just as a standard mod. And there's supposed to be a user manual. Here's the side of the package. Here's the other side. Here's the other side. Here's the front. And there is the back. How about we get this thing open, unboxed, and find out how good she really is. I don't know what to do with my knife. So this is going to have to get edited out. The things you miss out on all the time, and the things I cut out of these videos in order to make them watchable. I really have no idea where this knife is. Sorry, folks, I have no idea what happened to my knife. It was sitting up here on my desk. I don't remember taking it out of here. So how it disappeared, Lord only knows. So unfortunately, if you want to see the review for the Profile Squonk mod, you're going to have to come back later when I get it done. Because I don't have a knife. And then my OCD won't let me just rip the packaging off. So let's move on. All right, I said I'm going to move on, but in order for me to move on and actually show you the studio here, I need to switch over to another camera. And being the cameras typically cost in upwards of $1,000, and I got this one right here mounted. Let me switch and I'll show you what I mean. How you doing there? Well, I needed to be able to record this for you guys so I could show you my studio. And I wasn't ready to lay out $1,000 for a new camera, considering we just went on vacation and we went up to camp and closed it out. Been off for 2 weeks. So I went out and bought myself a webcam. Yeah. Ooh, that's freaky. Okay, so here's the webcam. And this is what I'm going to be able to use to show you guys our new studio setup we have here. That right there is the camera that I normally use. It's a Canon M50, the first one that came out with it. And it works really good. However, as you can see coming out of the side of that, that's not an HDMI cable. That's a USB cable. So it's only outputting at 720p. It's not even 1080p. I've also got 3 monitors that I use, especially when I'm editing videos. It's nice being able to have website open, have the editing software open, and the different files, so file folders are open. So I can gather all the things in little bits and pieces that go into making this video. The overhead camera that I have right here is the Canon Vixia HFR 800, and that's 1080p, and I'll put it in the HDMI cable and running into an adapter box on my desk over here. And as you can tell, this desk is an organized disaster. Organized disaster because, well, I know it's all here, but there's no rhyme or reason for where things lay. and they quickly become very disorganized while I'm doing these videos. I mean, look at all the juice flavors I've already got up here for today. Now, the most important thing about getting a camera like that to output video that looks watchable is for you to have the proper lighting. So that's the main focus that I've been putting my attention towards, is getting the lighting right. Because once you get the lighting right, you can do amazing things with even the cheapest of cameras. So I've got that one there, and that's not only the light, but there's also a box shade on there to disperse the light so you don't have a fixed source of light. And as you can tell, there's also another screen on it which directs all the light beams coming out of that shade straight forward. That's to prevent the light from spreading out to the surrounding environment, which is the back of the set, as you can see there. And there's my coffee pot I have behind me on the desk with all the flavors for juice. Something you don't normally get to see, you only see a little piece of it, is the sound treatment that I've had to do into this room. This is a pretty small room, and because it's a small room, there was all kinds of echoing that took place. So that's black because what you're actually looking at is the ceiling. I literally had to treat above the desk in order to try and cut back the reverberation. And that entire wall is treated with sound panels. If you look through there, I mean, it's probably not enough light because I've got this webcam cut back on its exposure to try and match the other camera. But there's sound treatment all the way around. I've also got another light over there. And something you'll learn if you ever do any filmmaking is you need to have 3 points of light aimed at your set. You have a primary light source. You have a light source that fills in the shadows. And then you've got up there in the ceiling fan, I have my hair light. And that is literally a flood light that has a shade cover on it. But that right there is pretty much the set that you see, limited to just a single perspective. And ultimately, I'd like to have multiple camera setups and have them fixed in place, because once they're set, it's awesome to be able to just switch back and forth, which is why I have the Stream Deck, because I do plan on doing live streams here in the future once I get this channel going. But unfortunately, it's very hard to make a dedicated commitment to this YouTube channel when you've got to have a real job on top of it, and actually it's multiple real jobs. Plus, being a stay-at-home dad, when my daughter's here, because we have 50-50 shared custody, it takes a lot of work for me to be able to juggle these things around and still be able to produce these videos every single week. So, just a quick overview. We've got the overhead Canon HF800. We've got a Canon M50 there. I've got this webcam. I've got all this lighting, and having the lighting is more important than having an expensive camera. So, as you can tell, this little webcam does produce a decent picture. And if you have the right lighting, well, you can get it to look pretty damn close to what an expensive camera like the Canon M50 or even a more expensive camera is able to do. So let me put this back up there and get the set fixed. And now we can jump back and forth between the two cameras. It does work pretty good. And anybody can really go and start doing this if you truly have a passion for it. For me, this is the first creative artistic endeavor that I've ever really taken upon during my lifetime, because I'm typically a logical person, analytical person. I work on computers and websites and computer security, information security, business management, that kind of stuff. So this is all new to me. Because the other thing that you need if you want to do this kind of channel is you need the software to be able to do it, and you need a computer. Well, the computer that I'm using to record this is custom built by me and loaded to the gill with the new video card, memory, and like I said, software. For these videos, I'm using DaVinci Resolve to edit it. And one of the advantages that I quickly learned is if you have the speed editor, it does speed up your editing. Being able to make all those cuts. The average 30-minute news broadcast that I put out has 150 cuts on it. To make it a 30-minute video, because normally when I record it, it's anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour long. I cut out all the dead space. I add all the images that you guys see, all the special effects. That takes quite a bit of amount of time to be able to put all that together. And having a speed editor, well, it probably saves me 25% in the amount of time I used to spend editing those videos together for you guys. And lastly is this microphone and the microphone stand that's mounted clear into the corner. Plus, I also have a channel strip. That's the DBX286 sound processor. That is to compress the audio. My apologies for spinning you guys around like that. But that allows the sound to be compressed so that the softer parts are louder and the quieter parts are softer. And then that way it enables you to listen to it comfortably. So I can yell. It doesn't sound like I'm yelling because that automatically cut the volume down. Or I can whisper. You can still hear what I say. Pretty cool. That takes place automatically on the compressor. Now, I could do this through software, but the purpose of doing that is because I want to do lives. And when you do a live, you got to have the ability to make minor adjustments on the fly. So that's why I ended up buying that channel strip. To be honest, folks, not including the vape stuff that you see on the shelves here, I've probably spent about $5,000 to get this YouTube channel up and running. So it does take a lot of time and resources to do it. But if you're committed to it and you keep putting it out there, you will grow. And for you 500 people that have already subscribed to this channel, I am so grateful. You guys enjoy watching this stuff. And you guys come back week after week to look at my reviews, look at my videos, look at the news, and maybe pick up a little bit of information along the way. So, time for us to move on to our next segment. So here we go. Right before you today is the DAEDALUS. Now, I picked this thing up almost a year ago. Brick City Vapors, North Olmsted, Ohio is where I picked this thing up at. Man, I wish I would have gotten to vaping earlier. The amount of options that were available years ago was just staggering. And here's one of the perfect examples of it. Now, I know you can go and take a cordless drill and wire and fishing swivels, because I got that kind of stuff too. Be able to make your own coils. However, this kit literally makes it so that anybody can easily make their own coils. And since I still haven't found my knife, I'm going to be ripping this saran wrap film off of this using my tweezers. I bet that sounded horrible. I'm going to have to edit that out. All right, so here is the DAEDALUS. This is the Pro version. There was a version 1. This is the version 2. Included in this is supposed to be a 3-piece magical Clapton coil tool, 2-piece swivel coast lock, 1-piece metal accessory, 1-piece DAEDALUS body, 1-piece smart coil jig, the box, tool clamp, screw nut, manual, and a spring. Quit beating around the bush. I know, you're sitting there yelling at the TV right now. Alex, quit beating around the bush and show me this damn tool. I've been watching this video looking for that tool because I want to make my own coils. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you want to make your own coils. Get your cordless drill out. Clamp the wire in there. Clamp the other end of the wire into a fishing swivel. Tighten it up and wrap your coils. It's that simple. So they say. I don't believe them. That's why I got this kit. Look at that. Beautiful. Here's our manual. The instructions and the pieces laid out, showing you how you're supposed to put it together. I watched a couple of YouTube videos a while back on it. Here's some straws to guide the wires. Here's the springs, the swivels, and our jigs. Must use round wire guide, normal wire guide. Now, beautifully packaged. They even included 40 gauge wire for us. Here's our plastic jig. Clamp it onto the table. Let the swivel. Rotate. And there is the motor that replaces your cordless drill. Now, I love this thing for the simple reason that you can take and pop in 2 batteries, standard vape batteries. 18650 battery there. Throw in an 18650 battery there. And now we can power our own drill and its variable speed. You can adjust the knob. So if you're brand new like me, you can literally have it turn at a snail's pace until we get the tension right for our Clapton wire. And when you get better at it, you just bump the speed up. That is awesome. You can switch it on and off right here. Awesome. Man, am I excited. I'm like a little kid on Christmas opening up this kit. You're like, unsubscribe. I ain't watching this dude. What is wrong with him? What's wrong with me is this takes the crafting aspect of vaping and empowers anyone to be able to make their own wires. So let's look at our little jig here. We have this to be able to allow you to feed your wire in like that. Includes a nice nylon nut. Also in this little baggie, we have ourselves our dies to allow us to pick the diameters of wire to run it through. Interesting. Different size die for different diameter wire. This one's labeled 26. That one's labeled 24. And this one is labeled 28. Very nice. Then you have a large diameter. And we have our tension knob. So we can take and pop on our coil. Put our tension on it. And adjust how much resistance there is for the Clapton wire. That is awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right. Give me a couple minutes. I'm going to get this set up. And we're going to make some wire.
Just take my hand, I'll be all you need. Hold on to the hopes and dreams we shared along the way, and promise you won't let them fade Though I have tried, I cannot forget. Can't seem to get it out of my head. The way that I felt that night we met. You stole my heart at first attempt. You made me believe in love again. Open my eyes with the things you said.
All right. Finally got everything set up into the jig, and we're going to make some final tweaks here on the tension, but it's doing a pretty damn good job putting a Clapton on this triple fused 28 wires. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have been playing with this thing now for, well, all of yesterday and a little bit this morning too. And I love this thing. It is fantastic to be able to make your own coils at home without having the finesse with the wire and using a cordless drill and a chuck and setting up the fisheye and clamps and all that other stuff. This kit allows anybody to simply buy the kit just like that and be able to make your own wires. I literally finished off the coil that came with this. And I did that while working on the triple fuse Clapton. And I could straighten this out and I could make one good coil out of this. But it is fantastic to be able to do that. And yeah, I know it's not the greatest thing in the world, and I have some more tweaking to do with it. Plus, if you look at my desk, you'll see this is a well-used and well-loved desk. So the surface on this is not perfectly smooth. And part of the thing about having this system, the way that it works, is when you have this thing running, as it's making the coil, it's literally pushing this off. And even the very fine ripples that I have here from just use and swelling and shrinking of the material that the desk is made from, this tension on this device and resistance on here varies and changes. Now, the other downfall that I found with this thing, and as you'll see, I no longer have the original plastic straw that came with this. Now, this plastic straw did work and did help me do what I needed to do, but a stainless steel straw you can pick up at the local dollar store works much better than the plastic straw that they gave you. So there's just a little bit of upgrades and tweaks that you can do if you choose to go and get this. Now, I looked, and for the life of me, I haven't been able to find any place online that's still selling it. Part of that has to do with the PMTA process. This had to apply for PMTA, and they weren't going to go and do that, because how can you prove that this is a benefit to public health? This is a hobby. Seriously? But because it purposely makes coils for vaping, well, it's now technically a banned item in the United States. The rest of the world, this is still a pretty cool thing to be able to have. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to find it anywhere. So if you want to be able to get one of these, you're going to have to hunt down a local vape shop that carries it. When I was a year ago at Brick City Vapors, they had about half a dozen of these sitting on the shelf. So worst case scenario, you can give them a call, Brick City Vapors, North Olmsted, Ohio, and they might have a couple of these left if you're interested in buying one. Otherwise, you're going to have to hunt out your local vape shop and see if maybe they carry it or they know somebody that might have it. But it's pretty slick. Nice fused Clapton wire. And yeah, I know that there's a twist in this, and I could literally put it into the vise and straighten it out and flatten it out, which is what I did with the one wire that I made. That one is a dual core fused Clapton, and it has been straightened out. And I could flatten it out a little bit more, or I could just use it just the way it is. Wrap it, throw it into a tank, and use it to vape. And the reason I went with what they supplied as a 40 gauge wrap is because I wanted to see how good this really is. There's no way that I would be able to use a cordless drill to wrap two pieces of wire, 28 gauge wire, with 40 gauge and end up with something that's going to be beautiful. I'm sure if I practice enough, I can get good enough to do something that's going to be decent quality. But I have to give a lot of credit to all those coil builders out there that do this by hand. And one of these days I'll have some free time and be able to get into it. But it was nice to know that with this, I can now make my own coils anytime I choose. However, if you don't want to get into tinkering and fiddling with stuff like this, well, you can just very easily go out and buy a 3-meter section of already Clapton wire ready for you to coil and wick in your own vape. I've used this one. This is the one that comes with the Bushido, and I really love this wire. It's fantastic, and it's immaculate when you take a look at it. Let me just open one of these up and show you what I mean. That is fantastic wire. Perfect for throwing into any rebuildable tank. And this stuff is readily available. Lots of different places. And I truly love it. I thought about throwing together a wire review and putting it up on the YouTube. But quite honestly, most people that do this kind of stuff and feel free to tinker will buy different kinds and experiment themselves. And it's a subjective thing almost as much as flavors are, what wire you prefer to put into your tank. So I've used this to recoil my Bushido, and I love it. Thank you, Bruce. This is a wonderful product. I would love to see this on the shelves of all the local vape shops around the country. But quite honestly, I have visited dozens of various vape shops. Anywhere I travel, I try and always stop by a local vape shop just to see what they have. If they have anything new, what's typically carried in a vape shop. The vape industry is completely unique when it comes to things like if you go and you're in the computer industry, there's certain expectations and standards and reporting requirements for these companies and these organizations that standardize or ends up standardizing things across the nation. Well, the vape industry has always been kind of a renegade in that aspect. Vape shops don't like to report to people if they don't have to. Well, the FDA doesn't give them much of a choice. Politicians ensured that. However, there is no accurate count of how many vape shops are in the country. Probably the most accurate count would be Google could tell you if they ran a search algorithm in Google Maps and confined it to the United States, the territorial states. They could tell you how many vape shops are in the world, or in the United States. But none of the organizations, none of the activists that are out there, and none of the groups that have representing us can tell you exactly how many vape shops there are. They can tell you how many members they have, but we don't have a single organization that represents all the vaping industry. Well, that's one of the problems that you have, and that's one of the reasons why I go to visit all these vape shops. I want to see how informed are they. Do they know what's going on with the regulations and whatnot? I'm kind of flabbergasted, actually, because a lot of the ones I visit, they're either very active and, are on social media and are members of multiple organizations trying to fight for their rights and your rights as a vapor. And then there's ones that are simply out there to make a buck. They use it to quit smoking. They loved it. They open up a shop, and it's a little mom and pop operation, and they don't really care about anybody but themselves in the bottom line to see whether they make a profit at the end of the month and whether they can stay in business. And don't get me wrong. I have nothing wrong with, people wanting to make money and have a living, opening their own store, the whole 9 yards. That's not the point at hand here. The point at hand here is that there isn't a single entity representing all vape shops that can collect and analyze and go to politicians and say, listen, this is how many vape shops we have. This is how many customers they have. This is how many people have quit smoking because of these vape shops. That has been a big downfall for the vaping industry in order to be able to fight some of these regulations that are coming out there. Neither here nor there. This is supposed to be about having fun and using our knowledge and building our knowledge in DIY. So how about we move on to our next segment, and I'm going to get everything cleaned up here, and we're going to open up some retro vape mail. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Today for our retro vape mail section, I have before you, for your enjoyment, the Mike Vapes Recurve Squonk mod. Just got the saran wrap pulled off of this thing. First time pulling it out of this packaging. Man, make those things so tight in there. All right. Well, got a battery adapter for 18650 batteries. Very nice. I got a 2700 battery here. Oh, that fits in there beautifully. And with the throw of this spring, you can see that I could put a 21700 in there too. Not too shabby. And we have on this side our lovely Squonk bottle. Ooh, look at the needle on that. That's going to make a great seal. Yeah. Let me put that battery back. That fits all nice. See those lights? That's how it tells us, because there's no screen on this. That's how it tells us if there's any problems with the device. There's a certain pattern to this. Hey, why don't we get the rest of the package open up and find out what the actual codes are that they're going to use. Man, it's been such a long time since I originally went to look at this. Oh, look at that. That's not for 21. What is that for? Oh, that's for a 20 650 battery. I was wondering, look at the bottom of this. You can see the throw they have on the inside of that. So if you had a 20 650 battery, you could use this adapter. If you had an 18 650, you can use this adapter. That's pretty cool. So looking at the directions here, it says that voltage is 3.7 to 4.2, and the resistance is 0.08 ohms to 3 ohms. 8 milliliter capacity for the Squonk bottle. Interesting. Well, we need something to go on this Squonk bottle, on the Squonk mod. What are we going to put on there? Well, the most appropriate thing to put on there is Mike Vape's Recurve Dual. Put the stuff back in the box. Obviously, micro USB, flat cable. Nice. Get this Recurve Dual opened up. Where am I going to put that on? Ooh, look at that. Curved air intake. Phillips head screws. They're good quality. Decent head on them. That should work pretty nice. What else comes inside this package? All right. Recommended coil lead length 7 millimeters. Using an ingenious coil length cutting tool. Look at that. Looks like a spark plug gap tool. The initial one is 4 millimeter. That's 5. That's 6. That's 7 millimeters. And you can go all the way up to 10 millimeters. Man, that is awesome. Comes with a Phillips head screwdriver and an Allen. You get some wick. Here's our peripheral pouch with the extra O-rings. That looks to be, yes, that would be the Squonk pin. Spare drip tip. All right, I'll have to figure out which one of these I like better. Look at that. It even comes with its own user manual. Very simple. And we got a set of coils. It's 4 28 gauge wires wrapped in 36. Well, let me get my tools out. I want to get this thing up and running. I like that tool. That is slick. All right, what's this thing OMOD at? 0.15 ohms. Give us some gentle pulses, see if we got any hot spots in there. Let me zoom you in. Fantastic. Right from the get-go, no hot spots. Wow. That's a pretty good coil. Made by DOVPO. Look at that. Quad core, fused Clapton, 428 gauge, wrapped in 36, and 80, 3mm wrap. And it came out at 0.13. Let's see what it comes out at now that we got the thing burned in. Wow. Detected. Put it back on. Yep, still at 0.15. That is awesome. Where's the cotton? Man, I haven't been this excited on a new product. I can't tell you how long. It's fantastic. Two pieces of nice fluffy cotton. Let's run that shoelace through there. Got a little piece of the shoelace in there, but it's breaking apart very easily. Nice. Clean that up. Drop it down. That's nice fluffy. Just drop it down. You know what I forgot to do? Forgot to change the pin. Because it does not come set up to Squonk. So, we'll open up our little peripheral pouch. And it's about the only thing I could ding them for on this. This peripheral pouch should come with a sealable envelope. I mean, it's not a major flaw, but it'd be nice, right? All right. Take that pin out. make sure that the little washer stays attached to the pin. You don't want to double up on them. You certainly don't want to put it in there without that. That electrically isolates the pin from the base. So drop this in there. There's an Ultim sleeve in there, but that's not going to protect the head. This protects the head. And as you can see, that is awesome. All right. Put all the stuff back in the box. Man, this coily tool, what a fantastic idea. I've never seen one like that before. And we'll get this off of the arc box and throw it onto this Recurve. Well, how about we try out this apple juice that we made? Huh? I think that ought to be pretty nice. Wait a minute. Might help if I put a battery in there. Or did I already? I do. 5 clicks to turn on. It's on. And we have vapor production. Look at that. I'm excited to try this out. Better take it and put a drop of this on. Lube up this O-ring because it's been in that package for a while. There we go. Throw on our cap. Beautiful. First vape. Mike Vapes. Recurve Dual on the Squonk mod. I love it. Holy airflow. Listen, that's the main problem that I have with some of the Mike Vapes tanks that are out there. Airflow is just a little too restricted for me. But on here, those 6 little holes that he got on there, it's perfect airflow for my taste. Damn. All right. I'm going to take and put this aside. I'll fill up the Squonk bottle. I can use this later. Give you some more feedback on the next vlog and let you know how it goes. But I love that thing. I don't know why I waited this long to open it up. It's awesome. All right, last little segment that we're going to do today. We're going to jump into visiting a couple vape shops in Gatlinburg. And I'm going to tell you the little story about my DOVPO ODIN and my hatred for the fat rabbit. Right after this.
Vaping is better than smoking.
Damn! Ladies and gentlemen, I just realized we're at like an hour and a half already for this vlog. I didn't expect it to be this long, and I've already actually had to cut out 2 things that I originally planned on doing, but you won't know about that because I cut it out. Anyway, so we're going to multitask, truck on, finish off this vlog, because I truly appreciate every single one of you that are sitting there watching this. And I'm sure you probably had to break it up into multiple viewing segments, or you fast forwarded and now you're here at this section because I'm going to multitask. I'm going to tell you the story about why my hatred for the fat rabbit grew to a whole new level. Let's flip it over. All right, so here's the fat rabbit. I really was trying to love this thing. I was trying to continue reviewing it and seeing what I thought of it. It is pretty cool that you can adjust the bottom airflow independent of adjusting the top airflow. And I finally found it, the settings that I really enjoyed having. I took this with me on vacation, and I was switching back and forth between the Ox Arbiter and the Hellvape Fat Rabbit. Well, they started off like usual. Loaded this thing up, threw it in my camera bag, had it on the DOVPO, and we went to go visit the Christmas place. We were out shopping for some Christmas ornaments and stuff. Plus, we had a friend of ours ask for us to pick something up from there from the last time we were there. We're walking around. Next thing I know, I start smelling something burning. I'm like, what the hell is that? Long story short, the ODIN was covered in juice. It was covered in juice, and the batteries inside were getting hot because the juice was shorting out the board inside here. So, I'm going to now start tearing this apart. While I tear this apart, I'm going to tell you the story about how after this incident happened, and I finally used this floppy battery door for a good purpose by dropping the batteries out, I realized I didn't have a battery case for the extra 21700s. I brought spare batteries that were in a case, but I never thought that I was going to need a battery case for the batteries inside the mod, because it just didn't dawn on me that you might have a bad mod. So off we went to the nearest vape shop, and that nearest vape shop was Knoxville Vapors. And for you guys at Knoxville Vapor, I truly want to say thank you very, very much, because here's what happened. I walked up to Knoxville Vapor and I said, do you guys have a battery case for a 21700 battery? And they're like, well, yeah, let me go check. Well, they went in the back, they dug through their drawers, and they found a battery case for my batteries. Never once asked why I wanted to buy battery box. And the guy right there was so friendly and so knowledgeable. We had a wonderful conversation about what's going on with the PACT Act, the vape mail ban, and all the other stuff that's out there. Very well informed as to what's going on in the vape industry. And later on, I actually looked into Knoxville Vapor and looked at their website to find out these guys are truly active and trying to make sure that our rights for vaping are no longer diminished any more than they already have been. Well, I went to go pay the guy for the battery case, and he's like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. He gave it to me. The guy doesn't know me from Adam. But he gave me the battery case because battery safety is so important. And you'll find this a lot in vape shops all throughout the country. If you can bring in a battery that's got some dings in it, or the battery wrap is starting to go, they'll offer to rewrap it for you. Because to them, it doesn't cost them anything to get a battery wrap and put it on your batteries. Battery safety is that important. Nothing can ruin things for the vape industry more than having a battery runaway situation and that making the news. So I really want to thank the guys. You saved my butt, and you didn't even charge me for this. So they got me to thinking, I need to revisit these guys. And that's exactly what we did the last day that I was there. I stopped in and walked around the place and took some pictures. And here is what Knoxville Vapor looks like. From the front of the building, well, let me play this little clip. All right, folks, I was able to get some juice for the trip home, but I want to pay a visit to Knoxville Vapor and Pigeon Forge, who really helped me out earlier on in my trip. And I'll explain the backstory to that in a few moments. But I want to make one more stop here at Knoxville Vapor, because these guys really saved my butt. So, that is Knoxville Vapors. When you walk in, you take a look. I was thoroughly impressed with the inventory that they have in stock. They have probably one of the biggest selection of juice options available. In all the countless vape shops I've been to, it was just fantastic. The flavor options available. They didn't have a couple of the ones that I've been vaping, but then again, they're in a different region than I am, and it doesn't surprise me that they don't have some of the flavors that I'm accustomed to. Here in Pennsylvania, vape shops like to buy stuff from, you know, local vendors, local manufacturers of e-liquids. And it did impress me, though, what they did have. And that visit that I went back to, I ended up finding a cannoli e-liquid that I'm going to be checking out here in the near future. Not in this video, because realistically this video is way too long already. So, long story short, here is some of the other items that they have for sale there. It's fantastic selection of devices. Now, granted, they didn't have the Lost Vape Thelema Quest coil that I needed, nor did they actually have the mod for sale. But that's nothing to hold against the vape shop, because, be honest with you, most of the vape shops I visited are only carrying the most popular devices, or the devices that the owners thought that were going to have PMTA applications submitted. Well, on the trip out of town, I also decided to visit Sevier Vapor. And Sevier Vapor is the hometown shop, you would think. I mean, they're named after the town and the county where we were at, which was pretty awesome. Had a great time there. The staff was very knowledgeable, very friendly, willing to help out, answer any questions anybody has. And their selection and their inventory was also through the roof. I mean, the retail square footage that they have in these vape shops, granted, they're in a high traffic flow area, get all the visitors constantly coming and going, plus you get your locals that you're going to be servicing. It makes sense why they have such a big store. But these guys are fantastic. So when I left there, just to give you guys a comparison, you go to a vape shop around here, you're looking at this bottle retailing for $30-some, plus you have Pennsylvania sales tax of 6%, and if you're in the city, there's another 2% or so added onto it, so 8% local sales tax, plus Pennsylvania's 40% wholesale vape excise tax added to these bottles. So you can leave a local vape shop here in Pennsylvania and expect to pay like $40 for a bottle like this. When I was down there, I got a bottle of OG Blue just for the trip home. I posted even on Facebook. $27 with their 10% sales tax that they have in Gatlinburg. That was fantastic. $27 for a bottle of juice. Big difference from the way it is here in Pennsylvania, and a big difference from the way it is in Ohio with a 10 cent per milliliter tax they have there. Well, needless to say, I want to thank both of these places, both Knoxville Vapor and Sevier Vapor. You guys have an amazing crew working for you there. You guys have wonderful stores, great inventory. And if you ever happen to be on vacation in the Smoky Mountains, stop by and pay them a visit. Tell them Hunky Vape sent you. All right, so we got the DOVPO ODIN disassembled here. And from the looks of it, there was juice inside the battery compartment. And this, I talked to you guys about this before, about how that got grungy. I'm going to take this and throw this in the ultrasonic cleaner. The board does not look like it has any juice on it whatsoever. So that leads me to believe that the juice simply got into the 510 pin and shorted out the 510 pin and the wiring that's directly underneath it. And these, you can tell, are decent gauge wires to push that current to these and to get the current and the battery power from here. So I'm going to clean this thing up. I'm going to spray it with some contact cleaner. Get the thing to dry out. Throw some batteries in there. And hopefully this should be good to go soon as it's all nice, clean, and dry. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that wraps up today's vlog. I truly appreciate every single one of you for sticking around. Please feel free to leave any comments below. Hit the like or dislike button, depending on what you think of me and the video. And I guess I'll catch you on the next one. So, without further ado, hope you all have a great day. And keep on vaping.